For some NFL football, welcome into Grandstand Betters. Without further ado, let's get into our plays of Week 1. All right, Week 1 is here, finally. No preseason games. Some of you might think that's great. Some of you others may think it's going to take a while for these teams to get on board with their offenses and defenses since they haven't had too many reps other than practice. But as we saw in the Kansas City Chiefs-Houston Texans game, I think everybody looked good, and the offenses are clicking, and the defenses are just as good. So let's talk about Week 1. We have 5 plays for you. Without further ado, let's get into them. So our first play is in the AFC East. It's between the Jets and the Bills. The Jets are coming off not a great year, just an average year, but they have gotten better. Sam Darnold is going to come into his own. They have Perriman. Bell had a down year last year. We look for him to bounce back. On the flip side, the Bills actually had a very good year in comparison to recent years. Josh Allen looks like he could be a franchise quarterback for them, and all the weapons around him to build on make them look like a strong team, even one that may compete this year for the AFC East Division title. But we like the Jets +6 in this first matchup. The under is actually at 39.40 right now. And there's supposed to be swirling winds between 12-15 miles an hour out there in Buffalo, and it's going to be a hard atmosphere to play in. Not only are all of those elements on top of the division rival itself, we look for a low-scoring game, and that's why we actually like the Jets +6.5. In a low-scoring game, that's a ton of points to give up to a division rival. So, Jets, Bills, Week 1, Jets +6. All right. Play number 2 is going to take us over to the NFC East, another division game between the Eagles and the Washington football team. Yes, the Washington football team led by quarterback Dwayne Haskins, the Ohio State Buckeye. They also have another great Buckeye on their defense in Chase Young. Now, these guys were awful last year. Dwayne Haskins, yeah, some people said that he looked decent. He led the team to some scores. They have a couple wide receivers in Sims Jr. and Lauren. But I'm going to tell you right now, this team is still a far way away from winning that division crown. Kind of like the Browns were last year. There was a lot of hype around the team, and then they fell flat on their face. Trust me, I know. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Redskins are going to do the same thing. There's not as much hype around them, but look for them to fall flat on their face. And I got to be honest, I don't know how the Eagles, with all their weapons around Carson Wentz, aren't a bigger favorite than 5.5. So we are going to take the Eagles -5.5. All right, so Philadelphia, Washington, another division rivalry in Week 1, but we look for Carson Wentz and his team to take the win -5.5. Just a last note on that game, Miles Sanders had an enormous back end of the season last year and was phenomenal. That was kind of his coming out party, so we look for him to have a strong day as well. So let's move into play number 3 of Week 1, and that is going to be the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. You notice a trend? They're all division matchups so far. Now, this one, we're probably going to be contrarian play against a lot. I know the Lions opened up -1.5, and sharp money came on the Lions -3. I think there's a lot of confidence in the Lions being a very good team this year because Stafford is actually healthy. That hasn't happened a lot in the last couple years. On the flip side, MVP Mitch was named starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. And not a lot of people think that he should even be considered to be even on a team, let alone a starting quarterback. They did go get Nick Foles in the offseason, and many are confused why he's not starting if they went to get him. Personally, I think they should have just gone and got Cam Newton, and this would be a moot point. But, nevertheless, I digress. Bears +3 is going to be our play against the Lions. It is going to be a contrarian play against a lot of sharp money, but I just can't pass up +3 with their defense And MVP Mitch is actually better than a lot of people think. He does lead the team to score, and he's got a lot of weapons around him. He's got more playmakers on his team than the Lions have on theirs. So we look for the Bears +3. All right, play number 4 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this is kind of tricky. This one is a huge public bet game. Everybody's going to be on the Seahawks. And a lot of people will think that the Falcons might be the better way to go. Sharp money may go that way, especially if the line gets to 3. But right now, Seattle is favored at -2.5, and we do like that side. Russell Wilson's been the most consistent quarterback in the last 3-4 years for the Seahawks. And he got another weapon. He got Greg Olsen from the Panthers as a tight end. Now, I know last time he got a decent tight end, it didn't work out well, but Greg Olsen is going to be a great addition and relieve some pressure and help that play-action fake with Carson and Hyde in the backfield, another guy they picked up in the offseason. So we like Seattle -2.5 over Atlanta. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about Atlanta is Matt Ryan's like 47 years old. This guy, he might not even make the second, third week. He might get hit against Seattle and be out. So we like Seattle. It might be close early just because the reps aren't there, but we do think that Seattle will win this easily, -2.5. And that takes us to our last play of week number 1. And it is actually going to be an over. We are looking at the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. Both these offenses you know well. Arizona has Kyler Murray, and they picked up DeAndre Hopkins from Houston. He came over, and he's going to be a great addition to relieve some stress off of Fitzgerald and that third wide receiver, Christian Kirk, who is phenomenal and very undervalued. That guy averaged, I think, about 8-9 targets per game the last 6 games of the year. So look for him to be utilized a lot when Hopkins is taken away. On the flip side, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They made the Super Bowl. Yeah, did you forget about them because the Chiefs are so good? I didn't. Their offense is killer with Kettle and their backfield. They do a nice run-pass combo, a 50-50 split down the middle, and use their play action very well. Look for them to score points. Look for Kyler Murray to score points. On top of everything else, if you want a statistic to back the over here, the last 15 or 70% roughly of their games in the NFC, San Francisco has gone over. And that is going to be over 48 in this game. It was at 46. It's got bumped up to 48. We grabbed it before it went any farther. So we look at San Francisco, Arizona, over 48. And one cherry on top, last 2 games were easily over 50 points. So there you have it. Just a quick recap. We have the Jets +6.5. We have the Eagles -5.5. We have the Bears +3. We have Seattle -2.5. And we have the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers over 48 points. That's it for us on week 1 here at Grandstand Bettors for the NFL. And as always, remember, relax, enjoy NFL this Sunday, and sit back, let us do the work while you do the winning.